Do you think there are any companies out there in the midst of this coronavirus that is just business as usual? I mean, like, really nothing has changed. Hey, welcome to the Enviro Talk program. I'm Travis Bowman. I'm the president of the Environmental Workshops, and we host workshops all over the globe, training environmental professionals on the latest technologies for contaminated soil, groundwater, and air pollution. And so our speakers are leaders in the industry. They speak at not only our workshops, but also conferences around the globe. And like I said, really, they've got leading technologies when it comes to dealing with pollution for air, soil, and groundwater. Well, so check out our website. You can see a little bit more about who our speakers are and the cities that we're coming to. And so you can check out EnvrioWorkshops.com. But also, we're hosting a global summit. We've actually hosted our workshops on 6 different continents, 20 different countries. And so now we're pulling together a global summit that'll be in Charlotte, North Carolina from September 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. And so check out our website there, EnvrioSummit.com, for more details on all the different speakers that we have coming in from around the globe. Well, today on our program, we have Jesse Williams. He's with a company called Eijkelkamp. And it's a Dutch company, a 100-year-old company based in the Netherlands. Thoroughly enjoyed working with them. And they have spoken, a number of different speakers from their company have spoken at our workshops from China, the Middle East, across North America. And so it's been a pleasure to work with them. And Jesse speaks at our workshops here in the U.S. Welcome to Enviro Talk.
Hello. Hey, Travis. How's it going? Good to see you.
Yeah, man. Good to see you in the midst of this social distancing, not traveling. It's been fun. I said North America. I mean, you've spoken, you and I travel together even in Canada, not just U.S. So all across North America, you've spoken at a bunch of our workshops, which has been fun.
Yeah. Canada and all over the U.S. It's been great. Yeah.
Yeah. The Canadian market, I know, is big for Eijkelkamp. So talk about Eijkelkamp. And
Sure.
I know a lot of people see that word, that name, and they're like, how do I pronounce that? So
So it's a long name, Eijkelkamp. I try to remember 3 syllables. That helps me when I first was learning the name. But it's a family name, and it's a family-run business. Hugues Eijkelkamp and his great-great-grandfather started the business over 100 years ago, as you stated. And it's a really interesting and cool story. You know, we started out, and you've heard this story from the talks, but we started out as a blacksmith shop. Just a small blacksmith shop making hand augers. Well, actually making horseshoes and other items, and then started making hand augers, the Dutch auger, the Edelman auger, the classic auger. And that's really the beginning of the story. And then it's evolved into a truly international company, every continent. I think it's like 190 countries or something crazy like that. We're all over the world. And we do everything now from hand augers to big drills, which are really just big augers, and to some extent. And we got into sonic drilling. We have a foundation where we work with communities with clean water. And, we have an institution where we do training all over the world. So it's a really, really interesting company. And we really do a lot of interesting projects. So it's great. Yeah.
I think you guys are the only environmental company that I know of that actually has people down in Antarctica.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
And I've joked and said, Antarctica is the only continent we haven't gone to training environmental professionals. And I don't know, maybe the penguins need to learn about the contamination. I don't know. Maybe so.
That'd be an interesting trip.
I know actually one of our speakers for the Global Summit, he's actually one of our board members, Rafik Menkara, Dr. Rafik Menkara, but he actually was just in Antarctica only but a couple of months ago. So wow. Anyway, I look forward to seeing him at the Global Summit and talking to him more about that trip and why he was down there. Maybe he was training the penguins. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, hey, we digress. So you guys are global, 190 countries. And talk to us a little bit, Jesse, about some of the stuff that you work on here in North America. You all have a North American office to serve the environmental professionals here. But talk about some of the stuff that you work on.
Yeah, I do most of the soil and water sales for Eijkelkamp in North America. So that includes anything that's going to be sampling soil or water. So that's everything from our hand augers to our lab equipment. We do a whole line of lab equipment, double ring infiltrometers, penetra loggers, wet sieving apparatuses, things for bulk density, and then all the way into Ready Flow 2 pump, which is a very successful sampling pump for environmental purposes, and Ready Flow 2. And then we also do multi-parameter water monitoring equipment like the AquaRead Sans for looking at different parameters in water samples. So there's a lot to it. It's a pretty big catalog.
That is for sure. And I know Troy Chips is the CEO. Troy would kick both you and I if we didn't talk a little bit about data, because I know that's where Eijkelkamp is going into the future and really meeting customers' needs. So talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So data, telemetry, data acquisition for the customer from the field to the office is really the future. And we've been really putting a lot of attention onto this with modems. We manufacture our own modems. We have a 3G, 4G modem option with a couple different configurations for either transducers or your AquaRead multi-parameter probes for long-term deployment. And this is really a huge tool for projects. You don't have to go out in the field. The old days, you'd have to literally, as you know, go out in the field, pull these transducers, pull these probes, take manual readings. So now you don't have to. This is all telemetry, and then we have a back office telecontrol net that's going to bring in all your data into an easy to read platform, and you can just collect your data at different time points depending on what you're looking at, stamps, timestamps, whatever you want to set it up as. So that's a big part of it. And I know on the Sonic side, they're working on a lot of new smart drilling technology that's going to be collecting data from everything from location to depth to temperature to sonic speed and vibration. So it's fascinating. Yeah.
The telemetry part is interesting because obviously it comes down to being competitive. There's obviously many environmental consultants who are listening to this and watching this right now, but it's when you look at the billable hours and how many people used to be going out there, the Eijkelkamp technologies really are helping the consultant out there be more competitive. Yes. And be able to still gather that data, but without the manpower that it took.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then in addition to that, there's manpower. There's also, there's a lot more mistakes that can occur if you're pulling these transducers and then maybe you're putting them back wrong, or maybe you're damaging it, so it's just an not easier. It's a more, streamlined way of collecting that data, keeping your hands off of the instruments. So you're not making human error by, not intentionally, but a human error while you're doing it. Yeah. And then of course the bottom line, savings, less manpower, less man hours, going out. Right. Yeah. Yep.
Right.
Yeah. We have a couple of big projects in Nevada right now that have been very, very successful. And we have a couple other big projects I can't really talk about right now, but up in Canada that we're working on that is going to be huge. So through two of the providences, and we're very excited. So we'll see.
That's awesome. I know. Yeah. I know we've had folks from Canada listening to our program, so that's good because I've been getting some feedback emails. People email me from Canada about watching this, so that's cool. I'm glad you're talking about that. So let's shift. Both you and I are sitting not in an office, a normal office. We're sitting in rooms because of the COVID-19 crisis that we're all dealing with. And talk to us about Eijkelkamp and what you all are doing in the midst of this crisis to make sure that you all are staying healthy and in production and all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So first and foremost, employee safety is the most important, number one. So early on, we started working remotely. The whole office decided to do that. So we've been working remotely, and thankfully, I work remotely quite a bit. And most of us in the office here in North America can do that. So it's been honestly a pretty easy transition. We've been just doing Zoom. We use Teams a lot, and we just using these platforms to keep communication going. And I've been doing that with my customers. We do have one Brian runs our warehouse. He's a logistics and warehouse manager, and he's at the office at night. And if we need to run in, I'll run in at night. Kind of if I have to do anything. Grab what I need. But it's honestly been a really good fit. And, we're essential business, so we're just operating like usual. I know in Holland, they've been where we get a lot of our products, so it is relevant. It's a kind of our supply chain. they have implemented very good rotating schedule with distance things, because they're a pretty big facility. So they've set it up where they can be 6 feet apart, and then they have a rotating schedule where some people come in one day, they're off the next day, and then other people come in, and we've been great and healthy, and there's been no issues. So yeah, really good.
That's great. So, I mean, really, in many respects, business is as usual. I mean, not a whole lot has changed on your end. I was just messaging with Rucker, and he's, of course, one of the principal. I can't remember exactly, but anyway, Rucker being one of the principals of Eijkelkamp, and he was saying the same thing. He's based there in the Netherlands, but he was saying he was looking forward to kids going back to school next week. I think it's next week, and but the social distancing, just putting that in place, and production is continued on for you guys.
Yeah, I would say the most difficult challenge that we have faced is working with Zoom and Teams, learning it. But now that we've got it figured out, it's been awesome. So, we're even talking more about, doing this long term, but it's been great. I've learned new tools, and the teams learned new tools. I think that we kind of were struggling with before. Now we've gotten it from this. So something good to take away,
Yeah.
Really do these meetings well.
So you all are able to meet the customer's needs, still get product to them on their site. Talk a little bit more about that.
Sure. Yeah. There is a little bit of a delay in some of our manufacturing. I mean, by little, I mean a couple extra days. It really hasn't been huge, but some of our products they're manufactured when we order them because they're so specific. So they had a little bit of a lead time anyway. So it's just a couple days on that. So it hasn't been a huge issue. I almost see no issues. I would say tops a couple more days to a week on lead time on some products. But overall, I know our Sonic production has been fine. All of our tooling, the warranty process that we do has been working great. I've been working on those a lot, and I can do that remotely. And that really, our new ERP system that we put in place earlier this year has really helped too, because it's remote and we can all do it remotely. So yeah, it's been great. Not much issues, honestly.
That's great. I mean, that's fantastic. I know you all have a team of people across North America too. And so some of the stuff that you guys will do is do a demonstration of your drill rigs and things like that. Has that changed at all? I mean, you can still do that with social distancing, right? So any of the guys, anything changed in there?
Well, there hasn't been much demoing going on with the rigs right now, but that's because I think we sold all of our rigs. So
really, we're here in North America, of course. Yeah,
but I know Mike. We got team members in Ohio, Texas, Georgia, and they've all been rocking and rolling. I mean, I see the quotes coming through, and I'm having conversations with them. So not so much demoing, but it's more follow-ups from the last show we had in Vegas, and we sold pretty much all the rigs. I think we have a couple of the Mito series from Frosty, but those are a specific construction type rig, and I think we had people looking at those. So not much demoing, but that brings up a good point. Next week, I'll be filming, because I've been doing a lot of training with my resellers, our distributors here in North America and US, Canada, and we're going to do some filming this next week. We just wrote a nice script for it and stuff for training. So it won't be live demos, but I'm going to be doing a training series on some of these products that we can blast out to them at this time while we're still here, in the houses. So yeah,
man, that's great.
Yeah,
that's fantastic. That's good stuff.
I'm excited.
Well, hey, sounds like things are running smooth in the midst of the crisis, and that's good to hear. And I mean, when things are kind of, to some degree, I keep saying it's almost like somebody took a deck of cards and threw them up in the air, and we're kind of like waiting for them all to come down before we can kind of pick up the pieces and be like, okay, now we can start putting things back together. But sounds like you guys haven't missed a beat, and that's great. And that's good for the customer to hear too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you got to keep on working, and that's what we're doing, and it's great. And honestly, the quotes have not slowed down. Everything's good. A lot of our projects, and the engineers, environmental, industry will know this. Are already in motion. They're already going. The permits are pulled, and the drill rigs are out working right now. Internationally, I see them in the UK. With Borehole Solutions, and these guys, they're still working because they can distance and they can be safe.
Yeah.
And, So it's great, man. We're going to keep rocking and rolling, and I'm glad to see you're still out. Rocking and rolling. Let's keep
alive
it going.
and kicking. All right, man. Hey, thank you so much. I appreciate you coming on, and I look forward to getting back out to a future workshop. By the way, I should say that Eijkelkamp is one of our big global sponsors of the summit coming up too in Charlotte, North Carolina. So a lot of conferences being canceled here in the springtime. I anticipate we'll probably see a pretty good response there in early September. So I'm looking forward to being there, Jesse, with you in Charlotte. So
let's do it, man. Awesome, right. Travis. I appreciate it.
All right. Stay healthy, man.
Thank you.
See you. Bye.